On April 10th, 2012, Demon Hunter will be releasing their sixth album to date, called True Defiance. Because of this, I feel compelled to finally make this review, even though I just been really lackadaisical about these reviews for some reason, mostly because of the lack of views. I feel most of the time that if I do not get enough views on my videos, that I really don't, feel like there's much of a reason to post videos when not a whole lot of people watch them. But because I'm such a huge fan of this band, and I'm so excited about, them coming out with this new record, it will only make sense for me to review The World is a Thorn and the 45 Days DVD box set. This review we're watching now is obviously for The World is a Thorn. Most people that I've talked to think that this is the best album that Demon Hunter has ever produced because the guitar work is much more technical on this one, and there's a heavy influence on speed on this record. But personally, now I'm going to get a lot of hate for this probably, but personally, I feel like this is one of the more weaker additions in our lineup. But then again, any disappointment from Demon Hunter is like, ice cream. So I'm just like, the band is just so good. It's like, even if they're not that great, they're still amazing, in comparison to so many other things. But, personally, I do like the direction they went with it overall. I think that, going for something completely different from, Storm the Gates of Hell, which I think Storm the Gates of Hell is one of their best albums. Possibly their very best, next to their very first one, as I've already mentioned in my review of the Storm the Gates of Hell. But, I really like how they focused on speed, heaviness, and while still maintaining a lot of the melodic feel, they, like I mentioned in the packaging review of that album, they replaced both guitarists, and Don Clark was no longer in the band, providing backup vocals and guitar like he used to. So now we have the guy from the Ascend. So for this album, we had the guy from the Ascendicate. He's no longer with that band now. And we also had another guitarist come in. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but he's there, and he's still there. He was still there for recording True Defiance. Looks like he's a keeper, I guess, because he's still here. Who knows? Maybe next album he won't be here. They usually change out their lineup every 2 albums, but for this one, their lineup changed even though it was 1 album away, which is kind of upsetting in my opinion. I like the guy from Ascendicate. I think he added a little something to the image of the band with his really long dreadlocks and everything. And I think he played guitar really, really well. I think he added something to the band, but apparently he decided he needed to do things elsewhere. If you've got more info on that, feel free to share that with me. I'd like to know. I had mentioned before in the Triptych review that I felt like it was a little over-polished, I believe I mentioned that in that one. It felt a little over-polished. It felt like there's too many digital post work done on the record upon mixing and mastering. And The World is a Thorn, I know it's not the headphones I'm listening to it through. No, it wasn't the speakers I was listening to it through, because I've listened to that album through a massive different series of headphones and whatnot. And I've listened to so many different speakers, and it can only come to one conclusion: it is over-polished to hell. The decibel range is just phenomenally awful, just awful. Like any recording nut who's into the dynamic range would shoot themselves within the first, 5 minutes of this record. Easily shoot themselves. It is just way off the wall, way too much polishing. Polish is for a woman's nails and a businessman's shoes, not on a metal record. I'm sorry, I might cuss in this review, but it's just like, oh man, it's just awful how much polishing was on it. But now that I got that out of my system, overall the record itself is very well written. They put a lot of thought into this. They put a lot of effort into it, and you could definitely tell. The DVD that came with the deluxe edition was definitely. Personally, I felt like it was a little bit disappointing, because I was hoping there would have a little there's be more to it instead of just Ryan Clark just talking about the album and stuff. But it was still pretty good. And if you get the deluxe edition off of iTunes, you can get the little bit of acoustic live studio session that they did, where they recorded a few songs. And I'm not going to tell you what those songs are, go ahead, look it up, and download them yourselves. Make sure you download them; they're really good. They did an Alice in Chains cover, which I personally really liked. I think Ryan's vocals really added something to that song, and making it all stripped down and everything. I thought it was a very good, really good touch that they added that to the DVD. The Alice in Chains cover's not on the DVD though, but it is on the iTunes Deluxe Edition. I recommend you download, those 4 last songs off of that. Um, but other than that, please buy the actual CD. It's much better, in my opinion, to buy the actual CD. Um, Although, like I said, I really do like this album. Collapsing is a very fun song to listen to. I think Shallow Water has some really cool, I don't want to say electro, but really cool guitar stuff that they did that I've never heard anywhere else. Like quite played like that. Speed Strid from Soilwork lends his vocals in Collapsing. I was really impressed and surprised to see that Christian Alvestam from Solution 45, Scar Symmetry, and Miseration lent his vocals into Feel As Though You Could, which I really... No, it was Just Breathe. It was Just Breathe, my bad. Now, Christian Alvestam lent his vocals in the song Just Breathe. And I think his vocals really added something in there because I'm a huge fan of his vocals. I want to be that type of vocalist. And I can tell that Ryan shares that same type of passion to have that same sort of being able to sing cleanly and be able to scream, in such a really fluid way, but still in your own type of way. Like, not to be Christian Alvestam, but to kind of do it in your own way. With that same type of style, But, those are my thoughts on this album. It is definitely a good one. Like I said, you can't really be disappointed with Demon Hunter. But personally, I just have a few, personally, my main gripe with it is the fact that it feels too overpolished, to where it feels like almost everything's in the clipping range, no matter what type of medium you're listening to it through, which is a serious problem. And I really am glad that from the songs that I've heard of True Defiance so far, as I'm recording this now, and in March of 2012, that I'm so glad to hear that they're going more of the dynamic range type sort of thing, even though it's not completely stripped down, but it's good enough. It feels like a blending of the old and the new. I'm really looking forward to this album. I've already got it pre-ordered, so I'm really looking forward to that. But yes, like all the Demon Hunter records, I don't think Demon Hunter could put out a bad album if they tried, personally. But, I'm extremely biased. The Worlds of Thorn is a great album. However, it does suffer from some serious things. I will mention one personal gripe with it, which is the first time I've had a personal gripe about any one of their songs in particular. Okay, in the song This Is the Line, they had made a karaoke contest for it. And in the karaoke version, it sounded really cool. The intro sounded really heavy. It was yeah, we're getting into it. Okay, in the album version, it goes, ooh, ooh. I'm just why did you do that? I was so pissed off when I heard that. I was just you totally ruined the intro of that song. But overall, the album was just good enough to where certain things were forgivable and you grew to like certain things about it. Personally, I think it's possibly the weakest entry in their catalog ever, but it's still good. It's really heavy, it's really fast, and maybe if you like a lot of the faster stuff and a lot of the more progressive stuff, then you're going to be into it. I'm sorry this video is kind of long and not nearly as well detailed as some of the others. But, I hope you enjoyed what I had to say about it, and I hope you're looking forward to seeing me, doing my unboxing review of the full-length album. Peace out. God bless.